by near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired from my last job. Hot wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Paid my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Show is in session.
Show's in session. We are here. We are live. Let's see who's in first this morning. Judge Posey keeping this. No, Mark Kurtz.
Comes in hot.
New winner.
That's awesome.
I had to scroll up to see the top three. Marvin Nickish got third.
That's how far to the top Mark Kurtz was.
Judge Posey gets second. Oh, Kurtz, you're in trouble.
Our local teams winning, by the way. Industrial Cobra's winning baseball games. So are Victoria East and West, both winning baseball series this last weekend.
Good.
We don't spend a lot of time on high school sports, but I feel like we have significant friends and acquaintances on all of these teams. I don't know. Anybody got a St. Joe update? I don't know if they're in the playoffs or how they're doing. I'm sure
I saw a lot of posts about their season being over and a lot of senior parents probably more upset that the season's over than their kids.
Right. No, I understand that. The kids are back on the PlayStation.
So,
yeah. I'm betting 950. Really? Yeah, on MLB.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerlam Hay Feed and Ranch Services. A little bit of rain is going to bring the mosquitoes out, and Jackie over at Deerlam has everything you need.
You said that, and my
mosquitoes.
phone went there. My phone went to the shortcut. 76 degrees in Victoria under mostly cloudy skies. Heading to a high today of 89, so it's going to be hot and muggy to me. 89's muggy. 30-degree chance of rain most of the day. The sun actually coming out this afternoon around 4 o'clock, so
good.
Should be a nice day. And we didn't get near as much rain as I thought we would yesterday, but we got a slow, steady kind of drizzle that was nice for a while.
I think tomorrow's going to be heavier rain or more rain. I don't know if it's going to be heavier.
You know you're getting older when you bemoan and talk about the weather, right? That's when you're getting older. Like when you're a kid, what to do? I don't know. It was a good day.
Well, I mean, we don't know who our new extension agent is if we have one yet, but
we're
pretty sure rainfall totals
are
down.
We do have one. And we're going to have a visit by the recently retired Matt Boucher. Says he's coming in to see us soon.
Is he extension agent emeritus now?
I think that's what you would call him. Yeah.
We'll anoint him as such if not.
Great guy.
Bobby Leister checking in. Amanda King, Lisa Poole, Linda Christ, Micah Patton, Wendy Garcia, good morning. Scott Snow, Sarah Elkins, Scott Tomko, Ricky King, Monty Howard, Heather Stewart, Mark Kurtz.
Mark Kurtz
twice.
Gennado is still playing.
Tammy Keeling, good morning. Ryan Hopping, Mark Zapata checking in. So, couple of things that came across yesterday. Well, first of all, third reading of the bill to transfer UHV to the A&M system takes place today, and it'll be voted on, expected to pass.
Should pass
today.
Today.
Expected to be signed by the governor when he gets around to signing these sorts of things. So
then you can be a Jaggy. You won't be an Aggie. You'll be a Jaggy.
You'll be a Jaggy.
Yeah. I think it's a natural fit. I've said it before. I mean, I'm a Texas grad, and you would expect me stereotypically to be anti-A&M, all these things. Just do A&M, Bob. Why not UT? It's not a natural fit. If they come in here, if they're smart, and I'm assuming they are, if they come in here and promote agricultural programs of some type, if Victoria were to get a certain type of agricultural farm, that we want to study coastal maize, and they get 100 acres somewhere that they put cotton on and maize and corn, and they have the Aggie farm here, and they teach something along those lines.
Like crop science?
Yes. And if they have engineering available in Victoria, I believe A&M will just excel here. I think it's a natural fit. There's so much community support. There are so many. Aggie alums and supporters.
I'll
here.
give you the brief engineering history at UHV, because UHV originally had engineering.
I think you told me
chemical
that.
engineering. I don't think I've told the audience this, back in the 70s, and the plug got pulled on the program after about 12 graduates. They, for whatever reason, I think they only went basically through one class cycle and then said, well, it just ain't it ain't pulling its weight, so we're getting rid of it.
I'll tell you where I think education has changed over the last 40 some odd years. I think there was a time that to get the best job, you needed to have an engineering degree from A&M, from Texas. I think now, if you have an engineering degree, if you have a degree in engineering, you've got a shot at a really fine, employment opportunity. Yeah. I don't think that there's as much mystique as, oh, he went to MIT. I just don't think there's as much mystique as there used to be. When I found out the other day that Harvard, for example, Harvard teaches a class in remedial math. Now, why do you need remedial math if you're at Harvard, old Harvard?
Well,
that's like if you went to Rice and they were teaching you remedial math. Like, how did you get into Rice if you can't do math?
Well, because Harvard discriminated against those who are smart in math.
True story.
According to Crossroads Today, Kara Matheny is the new ag extension agent. So that could or could not be correct.
Right. I think it's Crossroads Today. I think it's 50-50.
Right.
But did they also go ahead and tell you her sexual orientation and her political affiliation?
They use the word she.
Okay, good. So her pronouns apparently are feminine. Okay, good. We have that going for us. Because if anybody would give us the he, they,
them, there,
yeah, that would be Crossroads Today.
Jordan Glass checking in. Ralph Salazar, good morning.
Talk about not knowing your audience. Wow.
Stephanie, wow. I must run for the Democrat Party.
Absolutely.
Justin Glass, good morning. Stephanie Connie checking in. Did we say hi to John Anderson? I think we did, didn't we?
Yes, I did. Good morning, John Anderson over in the Carolinas. Did you see where our buddy...
Like and share the videos if you're on Facebook or YouTube, and welcome to everybody on Magic. But get over to YouTube and subscribe to the show. On Facebook, follow the show. You'll get the notifications every morning when the show's ready to come live.
You'll never get away. While I was out of town... Did they have the API golf tournament at Colony Creek? Did you see where our own Stephen Castaneda had a hole-in-one? Had a hole-in-one at that tournament.
Yep. Hasn't checked in since. They've disappeared him in that 16th hole pond.
You know what happens? The golfers,
the guys in front of them knew, they saw it go in. They're like, oh, we don't know where it went. I think it went long. You see the video of it? Yeah, they're like playing dumb.
It's in the jar. Yeah. But because you know what, no matter how good a player you are, you even watch the PGA Tour, the guy always turns, they don't ever turn to their caddy.
No.
They always turn to the other pro, and they're like this. Yeah. And the guy goes, hey, it's in. And then they believe it. They don't believe it until it's verified by another player.
Well, you got to have it verified, right?
Yeah, somebody's got to be there. But
if a tree falls in the forest,
it's quiet. I know, I've been there. But you walk in to that situation, and the problem is when you do it and you walk into the clubhouse, everybody's there, and it is your duty to buy the drinks. The guy that makes the hole-in-one gets the bar tab.
That's why it's ideal to do it at the API tournament, when you can just walk outside to the chest of beer and walk in with armloads of beer.
Drinks on me, everybody.
Give everybody
it's kind of like, Cody, it's like a child's birthday party now.
Yeah.
You invite 20 kids and it costs you $80 a kid to give them the goodie bag. They bring your kid like one little wonky Nerf ball, and you give them like a
Lego
harmonica and a Lego set. Yeah.
Remember, you used to just give them like double bubble and a bunch of little candy I remember going one time to a dentist kid's party in second grade, and we got like the little toothbrushes with those red tablets that showed where all the plaque was. That's what we got in our goodie bag.
I had 9 by 13. You're going to make me cry. For only pennies a day.
And his dad was really smart. He was the first one I ever went to that did the money in the cake.
Oh, really?
Oh, smart dentist.
Oh, well.
Chip your tooth. You got to go to him for your Get your teeth fixed.
I used to have 9x13 birthday parties. That's however many pieces of cake you could get in a 9x13 pan. That's how many kids I got to invite. Like mom's like, you're running out of cake. I'm not making 2. Yeah, Ricky King, you're exactly right. And he says we just used to have cake. We never gave the kids anything.
I remember shortly after high school, a kid and I were reminiscing about, he grew up on the street I grew up on. And he was like, I remember you came to my first birthday party, or my six-year-old birthday party. I guess it was like the first party he had that wasn't family.
Right.
And he invited like schoolmates and chums. Right. And so we went, he goes, we had to cut you off with a hot dog so we could get on with the party games.
When you were a twin and you lived with other brothers, I mean, they're like, it's like Ash is like, I'm going to have another hot dog. Are these free? Can I have another hot dog? We just got a copyright infringement right there.
He told me we cut you off at 6 hot dogs.
Well, no doubt about it.
I was going for the record. I was going to eat the whole damn package.
Sure,
all 12 back then.
And you're young. You don't know any better. You're like, they're not expensive.
Ooh.
Like, come on. Did you want to take one and put it in your thermos?
I should have.
That's a great story. The Canadians, Cody, they'll take the boiling water and put it in a thermos, and then boom, boom, drop in the hot dog weenies and seal the thermos. Then they take the hot dogs to school. So at lunchtime,
you have hot dogs.
You have a hot dog.
Water mess.
No. Well, I mean, I guess it's probably still very hot. You could throw it on one. I like how you said you invite your chums. I thought you were the chum.
Yeah.
For those of us that fish.
British term for friend.
Oh, yeah, sure. Which at one point, I'm sure you were British as well.
I remember the one guy would take the hot dogs out of the thermos and then stick it in his zipper and run around the classroom.
Yeah, that would be your brother.
So juvenile. No, it wasn't my brother. I'm not going to say who it was.
But if you were hot, the other end could actually burn you.
Yeah. I won't say who it was.
Unbelievable. Somebody that's tuned into the show.
Yeah, maybe.
Hello, Mike Bloschke.
Jarrett McCrugan. Good morning, cousin. It wasn't my cousin Jarrett. Kendra Douglas, Ricky King, Sheree Brissett.
You know how they do that. It's time to make the donuts. That's Mike Bloschke. Time to build the house. Time to build the house. Or they build a good product at Brigade. He's out there making it happen.
Absolutely. Let's see. Yesterday was Cinco de Mayo, the day that El Guapo was defeated by the Three Amigos.
That's exactly right. They don't celebrate it in Mexico because it has nothing to. It's just a commemorative of a battle against the French.
Yeah, it didn't even win or lose them the country. They just beat the French that day.
No,
it's like a soccer match back in the day.
It would be akin to us celebrating the day of the fall of the Alamo. It's really got nothing to do with the ultimate. I mean, it has everything to do with the ultimate independence of tech. It's not a very good analogy. Forget it. But you know what I'm saying.
Should I play the song again?
No. I'm starting to think that's a way to go with this deal. We're very fortunate. We're still on Magic 95.9. We're just so close. I feel it's like a Jewish honeymoon. It's going to be great. We're so close to being live streamed into the Corpus Christi market, which is going to help everybody, especially our sponsors. And then we're on YouTube and we're on Facebook, and we appreciate all those opportunities. But I'm starting to think that pay-per-view is the way to go. I'm just starting to think we could be kind of like Netflix. But it's every day. It's like for only pennies a day, you can be a Wade and Carter partner.
Good. I'm glad you said Netflix and not like back in the day when HBO and Skinamax were had pay-per-view movies.
Right. I just don't think I just think we'll just for pennies, we'll put you on EFT. You'll never notice it. Mike, when is the Parade of Homes? He says, thanks.
361-894-4020. Give us a
call,
quick
Mike.
ring, Mike.
894-4020.
Talk about the Parade of Homes.
So they are judging today and tomorrow.
Okay, I need the phone call. I need the call from Mike Bloschke.
We didn't ask. That was not a Commander Cody command. That was a.
He's that kid in the front of the classroom. Ooh. I know. Well, of course you know.
I spent all evening with Mike shooting his home. That's the reason I knew this.
I'm waiting for Mike to call.
He's not going to call.
He's going to call.
He's too busy.
He ain't busy. 894-4020. He'll call. Sheree Burchett likes Netflix.
Ricky King says, so y'all are going to pay us.
Yeah, we're going to pay you. Well, we'll get to that. Let's talk about deportation in a moment. That'll make you laugh. This is going to make you laugh.
In the meantime, as we wait for the call, I'll take a break. Palace Bingo, where friends meet
40.
friends. I think the 22nd of May. That sounds like a good Thursday for me.
May the 22nd.
Yep.
There.
Because next weekend, our buddy Randy Gutenberger's in town. Next week.
Okay.
So we don't want to pull our listeners who come to bingo away from that. So then we'll go there. 22nd.
Awesome.
I think we're set it up. Dollar Floor Store, get in there. They are the floor trader. Go by and see them. They buy truckloads of quality brand name flooring and then pass the savings on to you. And savings, like I'm talking like half of what you'll pay for it at a big box store. Crazy prices. Good people. Go see Tamara and the gang over there. And she'll help you even do some interior decorating. You're not sure what you want to do with the floor and your walls. She'll help you get it all sorted out in your room. It'll look good.
This is not a one-off. This is not some kind of just like discount store. These folks, this is what they do. They've got a beautiful location in College Station. They've got a location in Rockport. They're expanding. And really their ability to buy in bulk, it's a common deal. They buy lots and lots of flooring and they're passing the savings on to you. White Trash Services, White Trash Site Services.
550-1826. Give them a call. You'll talk to a person, not a phone tree.
And you know what? There's nothing more aggravating than you find yourself going, get me a representative.
Yeah.
Get me a representative. They do that.
Yeah, we don't understand that. Right from the get-go. There's
from the get-go.
Please pay attention. Our menu options have changed. No, they've never changed.
Junior, we said May 22nd. May 22nd, Thursday the 22nd for bingo. Chopping block this week. The food truck's available. All kinds of offerings. They've always got discounts on beef.
I bet you the sirloins are still there. But
yeah, the $7 baseball sirloins. Get in there. $7
I got
a steak.
I got that ribeye on Saturday, and it was really good.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what the chopping block's got today.
I think Blocksky's holding out for a cut of the EFT money.
You might be.
I wanted him to give us a ring.
Can't blame him.
I won a ring-a-dingy. Who was that? Was that a?
Oh, they got salmon at the chopping block right now.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm going by today. I'll have it for lunch.
There you go. Oh no, that's not the one here. Darn it.
That was Lily Tomlin who did
Lily
one
Tomlin.
ringing dingy.
There you go. Mike says he'll call us on Thursday. He says
All right.
he can't discuss details because it would, it's not fair to the the process of the parade drums. There's Amanda Bloschke checking in. Good morning, Blake. Blake's a great friend. I can remember being with Blake. Blake and I bonded over a piece of pizza at Splashway once. He wanted it. I had it. And we've been best friends ever since.
So you just don't even shout out to the daughter? You
No.
just do the other three people?
Brooke knows. She's one of my favorite people. Yeah, no doubt about it. The Bloschke family, they're great folks, great Victorians, awesome people to be around. Very, very giving and I have it's not a soft spot in my heart. It's great memories.
There you go. For Mother's Day, whole cooked briskets for $150. Prime brisket.
Prime brisket. It's going to be
and,
so
and they're going
tender.
fast. They only got about 10 of them left. So go get them.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah,
they get the bark on it. They get the whole deal. Yeah. It's just
nice smoke ring. Look
fantastic. Will Vincent, good morning.
Do you guys like the bark? I think the bark's my favorite part.
I like what they call a burnt end.
I like fatty stuff too.
Yeah.
Tara's major fillets, $7.50 each for Mother's Day.
I find that just as tender as the tenderloin, as the fillet, and it's nowhere near as expensive. There's David Brogger. Good morning, sir.
And they got prime fajita strips as well. So there you go. Get in there and get it all. They're going to have all your Mother's Day offerings.
Melissa Hanson in. The other thing one of the things I like about the chopping block is if you go in, you can also be humiliated and verbally abused. It's almost like dealing with the soup Nazi from Seinfeld. I'm like, well, tell me about that. What do you want to know?
Go get the
Came from a cow.
Yeah, go get the SPJ, salt, pepper, Jesus. Their garlic, salt, and pepper blend. There's no MSG in it, and to me, it has. I've tried others. More garlic, which I like.
It's better than I'm gonna.
HEB has one. It's not as good.
Better than like a chupacabra. It's that
No,
type of seasoning.
No, it's just salt, pepper, garlic. There's nothing else in it. It's just very basic, but boy, it brings out flavors.
There you
go.
You may not believe this.
I threw that on my pork tenderloin I did this week.
Little Rylan, the 12-year-old, And you may say, well, it's scrambled eggs. Here's my deal. Number one, he's shown an affinity for being in the kitchen, which is pretty cool. You know, you and I both enjoy cooking.
But it's just scrambled eggs.
Okay.
And that's where it starts.
That's where it starts. It's just scrambled eggs, right? But he'll say, hey, Dad, do you want me to make my eggs? He's proud of his ability.
Good.
But one day I was eating his scrambled eggs, and they were done. He uses butter. He mixes them. He adds a little milk, to make them fluffy, which, by the way, I've been told by chefs, if you add water instead of milk, your eggs will be even more fluffy. The milk doesn't really do much except liquefy the eggs. And
heavy whipping cream.
Then, now you're getting.
Well, water does the same thing.
Yeah, Mark Kirk says not so little, Rylan. You're right. He's
Anthony Bourdain's secret was to always fold in a little bit of sour cream at the end.
He's dead
when they're cooked.
He's dead. So we'll go with the living chef.
That's why he gave away that chef's secret.
He died from enlarged heart. But at the end of the day, he comes back in, and I didn't know he was doing this. He hits it with a little of that Lowry's
salt?
No, but garlic salt.
Oh.
And I've never thought to put garlic in my eggs. Number one,
we put garlic salt on our eggs every time we cook them.
And we were going to talk to you about your breath, but
right.
The thing that's amazing is then he
that's
hits.
He's in the corner.
He's like la 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 la, and we got that. You wonder why we put that exhaust hood over your desk. He throws in some garlic. I mean, some chopped cheddar cheese. And he really makes, it's almost like it's really good for a 12-year-old to do. He's like, I never know what he's going to add next.
Yeah.
So I think I'm proud of him. He's doing good.
Scott Tomko says, put some Parmesan in your eggs. I like sharp cheddar in my eggs.
I do too. I like sharp cheddar. Yeah. David Brager says the chopping block did breakfast tacos for the Hot Rod Tour, and they were fantastic. Yeah. Well, when Sean Neely's in that trailer, and that trailer is one of their competition trailers, and they go all over the state, all over the country, competing in brisket and sausage and ribs and chicken and beans, and they cook it all.
They've got their latest awards on the wall.
Oh, and they're
second place.
They're going to have to get a bigger building just to hold the trophies. But Sean Neely can really, he does a meatloaf on the smoker that's stuffed with cream cheese, and it is just ridiculous. I mean, it's so good.
Speaking of ridiculous, the reaction from the left on Donald Trump's two announcements yesterday.
That was good.
Thank you.
Because a totally separate direction, and your segue worked, and then I interrupted it out of jealousy and spite. Yes.
So he says he's going to go after Hollywood films, and how do you feel about that, or non-Hollywood made films, or films that maybe Hollywood makes out of the country?
Bigger fish to fry. Don't know why he's doing this. There's not enough money involved.
I've got a better idea. You know how the left is always clamoring that the rich must pay their fair share?
Yeah.
How about when they pay these actors, the tens of millions of dollars to make a film, how about they force them to give that to everybody else, part of that to everybody else on the film, so that they all get their fair share.
Right. They should all make the same.
Or they should give some of that to the independent filmmakers who struggle to make a film and don't have a big Hollywood behind them.
They should all set up a foundation. Well, here's what's interesting. The reality, we're being sarcastic, but the reality is Trump says Hollywood's dying a fast death. And then he wants to put a tariff on foreign films. Like, I don't know about y'all. I mean, I could see Judge Posey, maybe Patrick Strauss, even Junior going and catching a foreign film. If I'm watching a movie with subtitles, I mean, I'm probably in bed watching it. I'm not.
And you'll never know what the ending was like.
But at the end of the day, the foreign film industry with their underpaid staffers is not affecting anybody's life.
Nobody watches a foreign film until they get announced as an Oscar potential nominee, right? Then everybody goes, "Oh, I must go watch this one. It must be good."
I don't know why he's focused on this, but I'll tell you again. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Watching checkers.
I'll tell you why I think this one.
For Greg Abbott to get the Hollywood over here?
No, I mean maybe, but because Hollywood kowtows to China and doctors their films up so that they appeal to the Chinese market. That's why.
There you go. He's trying to hit China.
Yep. That's what I think is the reason on that one.
It's got to be bigger than I'm going to put a $50,000 tariff on, an Italian movie. I think you're right. Ricky King says the problem is more films are being made out of the United States than in the United States. That's what he's tariffing. If you make the film out of the United States. But again, I mean, how much money are we talking about? I'm just being sincere. It's not going to change a day in the life of the federal budget. So that's what gets me. But I do find it interesting, and I shared this with Ash this morning and kind of got a nuh-uh. So Trump is now talking about, I don't know where he gets his figures. I'm not suggesting that they're accurate. I'm not sure that their accuracy even matters at this point. He said that there's 20 million illegals in the country. It costs $1 million an illegal to have them here. Now, we don't know if that means over the course of their life, if that means per year,
while they're here,
if it's every week. I don't know. But that's the numbers that the Donald threw out. And he said, here's my game. I'm going to give them each $1,000 to self-deport. You're saying $1,000? I mean, well, that's a lot to some of them. I mean, they're living on the lam a little bit. Give you $1,000 and a big, beautiful airline ticket, he said, to the country that you came from. So if you're from Guatemala and you've got a family here and there's 5 of y'all, that's $5,000 cash and 5 airline tickets back to Guatemala. Now, that's not a bad start in Guatemala. But that being said, the Donald came in, there's the carrot, right? And then there's the stick. And he said, if you don't take the deal and ICE gets you, I'm negotiating with the country of Rwanda to take our illegal aliens. And Rwanda seems receptive. And I was telling Ash, I bet he promised them literally, 50 bags of rice if you'll take these people. And you may say, oh, that just seems odd. That's certainly not due process.
19 El Salvadorians traded to Rwanda for future considerations this morning by the Trump administration.
Now, what the other part of the carrot, now before you judge too harshly, think about this. If you leave voluntarily, take the $1,000 and the airline ticket. As long as you're a good person, you're not a criminal, you're not wanted, certainly for any crimes in the U.S., but if you don't have a criminal record where you came from, if you're just truly here illegally, we're going to wipe your slate clean, and you've got a chance to come back legally later on. It's not going to penalize you for having been here as a criminal, as an illegal. I don't hate that. Now, you said, nope. And I know why, because you did it the right way. You did it legally. Well, but I like the idea of saying, I want you gone, so I'm going to wipe your slate clean.
Well, but give them 5 years or 7 years. Put something there that they can't just leave, turn around, come back, and go, here I am. I'm coming legally this time.
I don't know. I mean, if they came legally and we knew who they were and they actually appeared, but I like the idea of $1,000 in an airline ticket. They're saying that's about $4,500 per.
Why aren't we putting pressure on these countries to actually come up with better documentation of who these people are, birth certificates, birth records, all the things that we've been giving them money for over the years to supposedly help make them better countries, so they're no longer the S-hole countries that Donald Trump referred to them as? Remember all that money we've been giving them for infrastructure over the last 50 years?
Yeah.
Since USAID was
created
and the Peace Corps was created.
True story. Yeah.
Where's it all gone? We know where it's all gone. Into the pockets of the despots that run these countries and have run these countries. And then they urge their people to come here illegally and storm our borders. It's funny, the folks that believe that the Constitution was an absolute, but will make the argument, well, that was muskets and pellets.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's.
But they don't understand that then if that's the case, if the world's changed and you got to ban guns, then you know what? Supreme Court, these folks infiltrating our borders, of course they're not troops, but because warfare's changed and life has changed. But they've been told. I mean, when Maduro in Venezuela basically opens up the prisons and says, you guys are all free as long as you go to the U.S.,
Jonathan Williams says that part of this deal with Trump is his war with Canada. He says Hollywood's been losing a lot of films to Vancouver. Jonathan Williams also said, Saving Private Ryan today, they'll need to storm the beaches of South Padre. Yeah, no kidding.
Well, go back and watch some of those old John Wayne Westerns that were filmed on the studio lots and, outside of LA, Universal Studios and all that.
Yeah.
They look so terribly fake.
Yep.
It was big which movie was it? Giant was filmed out in Marfa.
No doubt.
Right.
Ricky King says they say if they were caught by ICE, it costs $17,000 a person for court fees and transportation and all that to get them back to their country.
Why are we giving them a hearing in court? That's what I don't understand.
That's not the due process that's afforded them by the Department of Justice. It's just not.
The due process should have been, you know what? You try to get in here illegally, bye-bye. Because they're all coming here going, oh, asylum, because they've been coached. They got, we've been told they got little cards in their pockets when they search them.
Yeah.
In Spanish, telling them exactly what to say when they get here. They're supposed to memorize it before they get here and then hand it off to the next kid that the Coyotes bring to them. But they've been coached what to say. Meanwhile, they left El Salvador and went through Guatemala and all the rest, Nicaragua and all the rest of the countries to get up here.
Sure.
And didn't claim asylum at any of those. Costa Rica is supposed to be the next hotspot for retirement. So why wouldn't you claim asylum there?
That would be nice.
Think of the opportunities in Costa Rica.
Yeah, there's Matt Boucher. Good morning, sir. You're late. I guess retirement suits him. That's odd. Matt never slept till 7:30 when he was working.
Oh, never.
Do this. You take a break. I'll be right back.
All right. Allen's Wrecker Service. For all your wrecker needs, give Alan a call. We always call Alan. Janet will answer the phone sometimes. She'll just shake her head when Brent calls and goes, what have you done now? She won't do that to you. She'll get you a wrecker as fast as you need it and on the road back wherever to get your life back in order as quickly as possible. That's how good they are at Allen's Wrecker Service. Veracruz Restaurant today, the day before, called a Wednesday. Get in, eat great, Jalisco style Mexican food. My favorite Mexican restaurant is Veracruz. That's an offer. Brand new Chevrolets, brand new Mitsubishis, gently pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models. They'll service all makes and models. Lots of trucks in the lot right now. Trucks and SUVs. It's kind of SUV season because everybody wants to go out, hit a road trip soon.
Have you seen the black Corvette at Ottenhofer? I thought of you driving that the other day, and I thought, man, Ash would look really good in that. It's a gorgeous car.
Yeah, it is. Although I think my next, if I delve into something like that, I might try and get a classic.
Okay.
Haven't decided yet. Parvita Wellness, get in, get healthy. The Vita Cafe is open today for lunch, for dinner. Brunch coming soon on the weekends. Congrats to Erica Briggs. Her dream is finally reality. Did we talk Went Services already? Did we talk about how it's generator season?
We haven't.
Just around the corner?
But it is generator season, and I've talked to the folks that went. They've got the Generac in whole home generator in stock, so you can turnkey. You can turnkey that generator. You'll go to work, you'll come home, they'll have it connected, the electrical connection to your home, the fuel connection to the generator itself. It tests itself. It reports if there's a problem. It's just a fine American-made, made in Wisconsin, fine American-made product. And Went is a preferred dealer in the region. And they do these in Galveston. They do them in the Valley, South Padre Island. The closer you are to the coast, the more likely you are to need. Like a storm may come through and blow your house away, but by golly, you'll have lights.
Powered. Yeah.
That's right. That's what matters.
Sheree Brissett says those cars are made for old men with money, Cody.
Which car was that?
That black Corvette sitting on the lot.
Yeah, I'd like to have one.
So
I'm neither one of those.
Oh,
Sheree.
that's what I was looking for clarity. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But never in my life did I really want a Corvette. I always thought, Corvette's kind of cheesy. You get a medallion to wear around your neck, But now the new Corvette, when you look at the numbers, when you look at from a performance standpoint,
It's
a big fire-breathing Chevy
Ferrari-ish.
V8, it's Ferrari-ish performance on a fraction of the budget,
a fifth of the cost.
Yeah, so it's so much fun if you like to drive. I can't think of anything better, honestly, than throwing Donnie over there in the passenger seat and just letting her white knuckle all the way to California. I would love to just get in a brand new Corvette and drive to California.
Junior wants a 69 442. There was one of those at the car show.
It's a beautiful car.
Yeah.
Remember those serial numbers. If it's a legit 442, they always start off 344.
Does Junior work on cars too?
Junior does everything.
Yeah, he can.
I think he's a diesel mechanic by trade.
He can do anything. He was in the Navy. He was good at unspeakable things and then working on heavy equipment.
So I got to thinking a little bit more about the Alcatraz thing that Donald Trump was talking about. Had an Alcatraz fan threaten to call in today, but have not seen them.
Alcatraz is just him bristling. He's just talking. They abandoned Alcatraz when they did, which was what, in the 70s?
60s, maybe?
60s. It just got too expensive. There's no way you can't get fresh water.
But here's what I think the reason is for that. It's become such a tourist destination. People go to San Francisco, and the first thing on their list when they go there is to go see Alcatraz, or maybe the second after riding the cable car or the trolley.
San Francisco probably doesn't want it to be reopened. It's a tourist trap.
Exactly. But I think that's the play by President Trump here, to punish San Francisco for electing Pelosi all these years.
Yeah.
Think of the cost. I'd rather work out deals with El Salvador again. Do we have a call?
Yeah, no, we don't have a call. I'm wanting a call, 894-4020.
I'd rather work out a deal with El Salvador, and instead of sending people to Alcatraz, send them to El Salvador. That'd be the way to go.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather them be on another continent. I like Rwanda. They just can't walk back up here from Rwanda.
No, stick them on Guantanamo. I got no problem with that either. We already got it.
How many people can you put down there?
I don't know.
I like them in Cuba. I do. I think Cuba's a good place for them. They can assimilate and be Cuban. What else you got? You got a whole bunch of stuff over the top up there. What happened to Pete Hegseth? Is he in trouble again?
I think so.
Well, you know what you do? You serve him up. Donald, you've given him enough opportunities. Even if he didn't do anything, politics is about perception. I don't even know what they're going to say about him. I'm saying it may be time to cut him loose.
Well, apparently, and maybe this is why, because yesterday he said he wants to cut about 20% of senior generals and lead admirals. And then yesterday they come out and say, well, he had about a dozen signal chats going.
Yeah,
but we've heard they're allowed to use Signal. So why is that a controversy if that's something they're allowed to use? Adding the editor-in-chief of the Atlantic, somebody added a mistakenly bull crap. Call them bull crap on that.
Right.
That might be the official story, but they weren't added accidentally. Somebody wanted them in on that chat. Having his wife in there.
Yeah, some of that was just dumb. Hegseth, an Army National Guard veteran and former Fox News host, has previously railed against senior officers in the military, claiming they were playing by all the wrong rules to cater to ideologues in Washington, D.C. And so they'll do any social justice, gender, climate, extremism crap because it gets them checked to the next level.
None of them stood up against all that stuff.
That's right. Nobody said, no general in our army said, this is ridiculous. We are here to kill people. That's our job. We don't need men in skirts roaming the halls of the Pentagon. We are here to kill people. Not one general said that. Several retired. They left, but nobody stood up because it was career suicide. And they all acquiesced to the liberal left and the lunacy that is that these transsexuals are going to protect our country.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Huge joke. You're seeing there was a guy the other day, and I'm only going on the off chance that you heard the same report I did, who announced, it may have been a mayor, anyway, announced that he was leaving the Democrat Party. He goes, I'm tired of LGBTQ and purple hair and men and women's sports. I'm tired of that dominating the rhetoric, and I'm going to go to the party that actually cares about the American family. I think that may be a stretch. I think the Republicans care about not being Democrats more than they care about the American family, but I don't mean individually, but collectively. The Republicans are doing everything they can to combat that the Democrats will do anything they have to get elected.
I tend to agree.
So I think that whoever it was significant enough that it made the news, that because, the news, in my opinion, is still extremely slanted left. And for them to say that this guy reported he was leaving the Democrat Party and gave the reasoning that he was quoted as saying, I thought that was interesting.
19 attorneys general filing a lawsuit against the United States and the Department of Health and Human Services because of the planned changes by Secretary Robert F. Kennedy.
What a clown show.
This has become, all our government is doing right now is enriching a bunch of those in government and enriching a bunch of attorneys.
Correct.
And district attorneys, defense attorneys who then have to go and defend against this lawsuit by 19 Democratic attorneys general because they don't like the cuts or the changes. They never sue when the Secretary of Health and Human Services in the past did anything to expand health and human services.
And all they're doing is they're trying to disrupt the momentum of the Trump administration. And it is an organized act of treason. The Democrats loudly espouse the concept of disrupt, complain, use every means necessary, protest at the local level, sue every opportunity you get, tie up their means in court, and let's do everything we can to keep the Republicans from actually making any progress with their agenda. And I think that Trump needs to find precedent, and there needs to be a Supreme Court ruling that says you low-level state folks can't sue the federal government. The idea that they sue the federal government that's taking your local tax dollars and going to court with high-dollar attorneys for your federal tax dollars. It's a ridiculous waste of money, no matter which side of the coin you're on.
It is. And I don't have a problem if they're actually legit, but you know what? Let's start having some impartial judge look at these things before they get anywhere and go, yeah, this one's frivolous. Bye-bye.
Wouldn't that be the Supreme Court?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Eventually, but I don't know. And the fact that Letitia James is the one that's leading this charge.
She's such a dolt. All she cares about is her name being in the paper.
And money.
That's right.
But the fact that you've got 18 other Democratic attorneys general that won't put their name and lead the charge on this tells me they're trying to hide. They're trying to say they're doing their job, but they don't want to be under the spotlight or in the spotlight.
Under the microscope.
That's
Wasn't it her?
Yeah, that had all the lied on mortgage. Yeah.
She lied on her mortgages application and then tried to blame it on racism.
Yeah.
And that's still the trump card of all trump cards, right? You're being racist.
Yeah.
You don't like DEI, you're racist. No, imagine that. Imagine the concept that I think that the most qualified person for the job should get the job. Wow, that's so racist.
Yeah. In filing the lawsuit, she says we need to prevent the unconstitutional and illegal dismantling of the department. Show me somewhere in the Constitution it prescribes a Department of Health and Human Services. It's nowhere there. So how can this be unconstitutional?
This administration has taken a wrecking ball to the Department of Health and Human Services. HHS is responsible for protecting and preserving public health. And since taking office, this administration has fired scientists, closed labs, shuttered life-saving programs without rhyme, reason, or any legal authority.
Secretary of Health and Human Services. I think that gives you the legal authority. I think he's got the authority.
This is not government reform. This is not efficiency. The federal government has cut labs capacity so much that they have all but stopped testing for measles in the middle of an unprecedented measles outbreak. She's an idiot, folks.
She is an idiot.
And she has no business being in any type of authority. Yeah. And I don't know who you go get, for example, unless you can go back to the original Trump administration and get who was in charge of
Ben Carson, wasn't he secretary? Wasn't he Health and Human Services back then?
Who was in charge of the
HUD,
military?
Oh,
who was the? Yeah, I mean, shame on me. Commander can.
He's on it. He's nodding.
But I mean, at the same point, I'm like,
who was Secretary of Defense?
Wasn't Pompeo?
No, he was Secretary of State.
Boy, he was good. I thought
so too. Although Rubio's, I think
Rubio's doing a fantastic job.
Apparently, he doesn't have enough to do. He's taking on everything else.
Yeah, no, I think he's fantastic. Although there's nothing at all even remotely presidential about the man. I'm really glad that he was not elected to be president. He just looks like a kid, and that I need my president to look.
They said Kennedy did too.
Yeah.
Under what? Sorry, I got distracted on y'all's latest.
Under Trump's first administration, who was the
Robert Salesses, Salesses was the acting Secretary of Defense.
I have no idea. Yes, Monty, you're right. I didn't ask the question correctly. Ben Carson was Health and Human Services.
I thought he did a pretty good job under Health and Human Services.
But getting rid of winding down these things. There was the lady that's in charge of the Department of Education. She was brilliant in her dissertation about how that she was proud.
Linda McMahon?
Proud. She said, I'm proud to be the one that's going to close this department. She's just like, it's ridiculous. Last week when I was up there, picture a building 8 stories tall, 4 times the footprint of the Victoria Mall property. That's the Department of Labor. I mean, what do you put 5,000 people in there? How many people do you need at the Department of Labor?
Well, as I talked about when you were gone, our GDP has been propped up artificially by the federal government since COVID, basically. That's why, that's the one thing nobody talked about when our GDP in the first quarter shrank a little bit. Well, because the government has been cutting spending.
Yeah.
That's how they brainwash the American public into thinking that the government spending is necessary. Well, without it, our GDP, and that means a recession. If we have 2 straight quarters of a recession or regression in the GDP, we can't have that.
Yeah, no doubt. Canada is America's second biggest trading partner and one of its closest allies on many fronts, from national security to commerce.
All right, well, let's be honest on that. Outside of providing NORAD stations,
90-10 America.
Yeah.
But Trump's aggressive tariff blitz in recent months has undermined that long-standing relationship.
This has got to be CNN, the way this is being worded.
Oh, yeah, it's CNN.
Yeah, it is.
Sure. And just
apparently he's meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney today at the White House. You notice how everybody comes to the White House to kiss the ring? Donald Trump rarely goes anywhere else to meet with these folks. They're all coming here.
And he's working. I don't know what you do. I still am convinced.
But I will agree with one thing on this. It helped Carney consolidate political power. I agree. Fine. Trump weighing in on calling him Governor Trudeau and
maybe that's
the 51st state.
Trump wanted. He wanted Trudeau gone. We know that.
Yeah, but he didn't want Carney in there, I don't think.
No, but at the end of the day, I wonder what percentage of Canada's overall foreign exports come across that southern border to the U.S. I promise you, the 30 some odd million Canadians need their trade with the U.S. more than the U.S. needs their trade with Canada. I promise you. Is that fair? No. Is it
softwood lumber? We're not building houses without it.
We ain't
20
building houses
20
right now anyway.
20
Consumer confidence is so low, it's very difficult to build a house.
20% of the oil we import from Canada.
But don't forget, that's nowhere near 20% of the oil we use. We import 100 barrels a year. 20 come from Canada. Woohoo! We use 100 million barrels a day.
Becomes your gas.
Right. I mean, I can easily replace that oil that I get from Canada.
Where?
But can they replace the income from selling it to us? That's the question. And is it any easier to get it anywhere?
They could. Here's the stupid thing. If Canada has an easier time selling their oil to the U.S. than they do to provinces in Eastern Canada.
True story.
That's how stupid Canada is.
They've had pipeline disputes, all types of problems getting oil where they wanted to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex Azar was the Health and Human Services Secretary.
And you know what?
First term Carson was HUD. Thank you.
I have to
Wendy
apologize.
Garcia.
I have no idea who Alex Azar is. How about that?
He did nothing.
No idea.
That tells you right there because we don't know who he is. The Dems were happy with him because he just grew the department and didn't do anything.
That's right. I'm not saying, I never said that Pete Hegseth was necessarily qualified for the position. I did say, and I stand by, that every person in Trump's cabinet has been personally, maliciously attacked by the deep state.
Well, they're mad because Hegseth got it over somebody who felt they should be appointed it or
That's
given
right.
it because they put in their time, right?
That's right. There is a hierarchy in the military.
You get to that point when you start pinning stars on your uniform, you don't care. It's no longer about your merit, like it may have been to get there or to get to Major General. Now it's about, well, I put my time in, I deserve it. They forget about the meritocracy that got them there, and then they think they're just deserve it.
You just made me think about something. Somebody I've always been proud of, our own former police chief, Robert Arredondo. When the chief got here, and with no judgment, it's just a statement of fact, J.J. Craig, as chief, had 4 stars on his collar. And Robert said, I've looked at my staff, and like there's several guys that have 2 stars, but he goes, I don't need 4. And he always just wore 3 stars. He goes, I'm the chief. Everybody knows I'm the chief. I don't need a 4th star. He took that with him to Carrollton. I saw him at the state capitol a couple of weeks ago. And I said, where's your 4th star? Did you lose your star? And he goes, you remember? No, he goes, I don't need a star. I was very proud of him for that. Very, very much he's a beat cops type of chief. And I'm proud of him. Good
Johnny
man.
Houghton says Trump wanted Carney in because they've got some familiarity back when he bought a building off the Kushner family.
There you go.
Oh, don't start talking that. That'll get the Democrats all riled up.
There's collusion.
Yeah. There you go. Jared says U.S. should thank Trudeau. He turned down Germany and Japan on liquid natural gas as there was no market to sell it, so the U.S. could make $1 trillion deal with them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Trudeau was the worst thing for Canada since his father.
Yeah, I wonder what that guy's doing now. I'm sure he's working on a book. I'm sure he is.
He'll be on speaking tours. And the funny thing is, Canadians will pay stupid money to go listen to him speak.
Yeah,
they did with Michelle Obama.
You've heard him misspeak for a decade. What's funny is he'll get paid in Canadian dollars and actually be in financial peril. Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, did you see anything you know about of these 2025 Pulitzer Prize winners?
Other than a bunch of them won prizes for their coverage of the Trump assassination in Pennsylvania. Isn't that ironic? The man they hate, but they'll accept the awards. If they really stood for their beliefs, they'd turn down the awards. You know what? I get it. I understand why, but
there are people, Ash, who genuinely believe that there's no way that Donald Trump's ear could have healed so quickly and perfectly. If so, Evander Holyfield's ear would have regenerated. And they go on and on. They say the whole thing was just staged and that it was really makeup and it was fake blood and all this. My question to you would be this. What about the other two people on that dais that died? What do the naysayers, what are they saying to their family?
They haven't cared about him.
Very interesting that the extreme left lashes out saying, oh, nobody shot Trump. I saw his reaction. It's quite obvious he was stunned. You know, what was that? And then two people died. And we just kind of, so what did they do?
Including one like sitting way away.
So is that the deal? Is that what Trump orchestrated? Shoot that volunteer fireman in front of his wife and kid and shoot that guy while gives me a distraction to put the makeup on my ear?
Yeah.
I mean, the left is so loony and so out of control. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. Something that we don't hear about anymore. I find it interesting. You never hear about Trump's felonies, and you never hear about Trump's sexual misconduct anymore. Like that's over. It's almost like the left-leaning media said, well, that didn't work. We've got to move on to something else. That's a huge number. I don't know what you're doing there, Amen.
Well, Swiss Bank yesterday agreed to pay $511 million to settle a criminal investigation by the Justice Department. Found that Credit Suisse helped wealthy Americans. It's always wealthy Americans, but who else can evade $4 billion in taxes?
Wealthy men.
No. $4 billion in 475 offshore accounts. That works out to about 8.4 million per account. If you're doing the math, that's what I was doing the math.
Mm-hmm.
So we helped them hide $4 billion in taxable.
Your math is wrong, but I like where your head's at.
No, why?
If I had 500 accounts, at $4 billion. Okay, you're right. That's.
I did. No, that's my calculator shows 8.4
sure that's
million.
Not 800 million.
No, I did it right. I think. Well, I'm trying again. That's $4 billion, right?
Yes, sir. Divided by 475.
All right. This will take the rest of the show. Y'all have a great day.
8.4 million.
Yeah, 8.4 million. He's actually correct.
Yeah, for once. Well,
that's
my calculator
around
is correct.
8 million in Ash speak.
So, and then we settle for 511 million coming back.
I don't know.
I have no idea what the taxes would have been on that. I just think it's interesting.
I love the idea that people are saying tax the rich, including Bernie Sanders, who now claims that we're in an oligarchic society in America. It's an oligarchy. Yeah. And I'm like, Bernie, you're an oligarch then. Your wife stole a bunch of money from a university. Nobody disputes this. They built a house.
No, but they forget it. They don't accuse him of it. He's become the elite off the back of taxpayers.
Yeah.
He is the oligarch. He is what they do. This is what socialists and communists do. They become the ruling elite.
That's right. And everybody else is subject to them.
Yeah.
Skechers, the shoe company, acquired for more than $9 billion by private equity firm 3G Capital, taking the shoemaker private after 26 years.
Wow.
Skechers shares closed up 24% on the news.
You think Nancy Pelosi sold her shares right after that?
Yeah. Jerry McCrugan, I agree with that. If it was staged, and I don't believe it was, whoever they is, would have no problem killing a couple of people to make it look good. But at this point, given the reaction, Donald Trump would absolutely have had to be involved. He would have had to be a key orchestrator of that.
Well, he
didn't need it to beat Kim.
But here's why the left has stopped talking about the two victims of that shooting, the two true victims of that shooting.
The unintended victims.
I don't think they were unintended.
You think they were designed?
I think they were designed to get all three of them, and then they would have blamed those other two deaths on Trump.
Right.
But they've completely forgot about it because they botched the whole operation when they didn't get Trump.
Montgomery Howard is spot on correct. He says Bernie's been peddling the oligarchy thing for decades. And I'll tell you, I did see an assemblage of sound bites, and there's two things I noticed. It was 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, and just last week. And he would say, America's heading towards an oligarchy. Only the rich are going to be rich. And he did this whole thing. And it's what I noticed was he looked 80 years old in 1980 and in 1990. And he looks the same. And he's a well-known communist.
Well, it's like
I'm Bernie Sanders. I'm running for president.
He's like the climate alarmist, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's the same thing. The ice age is coming. The ice age is coming.
It's imminent. It's going to happen. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. I'm a Democrat. Let me solve the problem. Give me more money. I can solve the problem. 1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute remaining in the third period.
Is there anything
that reminds me
in a hockey game?
Toronto 5-4 winners over Florida to take game one of their series yesterday.
Houston Astros lose last night. I quit watching it. It was 3-1.
Yeah. Last score I saw was 5-1. I don't even know where it ended.
First State Bank of Louise is still the best bank in town. Go by and see them. Friendliest bank anywhere. Big enough to get it done. Small enough to know you by name.
It ended 5-1.
Yeah, Astros lose 5-1.
Lost 3 of the last 4.
What I saw was Ronel Blanco just serving up batting practice. Everybody was just ripping him. And I'm hoping that Lance McCullers can come in and fill that spot and be the starter. And we'll get Ronel back to someplace else.
Hurricanes and Caps, game 1 tonight, and Oilers and Vegas, game 1 of that series tonight as well. So there you go. There's the Astros and the Brewers will continue.
Yeah.
In Milwaukee.
Ricky King points out that Bernie Sanders is rich also. They asked him at a do you need 3 houses? You need 3. They go, Bernie, how many houses do you have? 3 houses. He goes, why do you have 3 houses? I'm a United States Senator. That's what he said. His excuse for having 3 homes was, well, he's royalty. He's a United States Senator. Folks, have a great day. It's Tuesday. Go, go, go. Sell something today, people. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.
Well, I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving